What's up, guys? Welcome back to the S3 Magazine podcast. Today we are here with Frank Garcia, the owner and founder of Downstar. They make dress-up bolts, skateboard equipment. It's going to be a fun talk.
Yep.
All right, so before we get started, I need to plug the magazine because after a long-awaited 3 months of COVID-19 BS, we finally have a new issue. Issue 54 is live right there. If you're watching it, you can get it at www.s3mag.com. So you can subscribe for $20. You get the magazine for 2 years and a free T-shirt. Like, you can't beat that deal. Come on, guys, get it together. But anyways, Frank, my dude, how you doing?
Thank you, brother. Thank you guys for having me. I'm doing awesome, man. It's a great way to start the weekend for sure.
Hell yeah.
How you guys doing?
So, making
Dude, I'm good. I'm just thinking about the last time I saw you, which was outside of the bathrooms at SEMA, which brings up a whole new thing, which is, I'm sure it happened to you, it's happened to everybody. You're at SEMA or some sort of busy place like that, and you come out of the bathroom and your hand's wet because you just walked in. And you see somebody you know, and you're like,
what's up, man?
Sorry, man.
What's up, dude? Yeah, no, it's cool, man. That's the one thing I like about SEMA is that you just run into people at random places, whether it's at the event or like after at the club or something. Funny thing is, last time I was at the restroom at like the Luxor after that, like the Grid Life event that they did.
The after party.
Yeah. I seen a bunch of dudes in the restroom too. Like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, dude. Back when we used to shake hands, it's going to be interesting this year because everybody's like kind of weird about like Corona, and you're going to be like, yo, hey.
That won't fly these days.
Dude, I'm already. Did you, Hunter, we were at APR yesterday, like the awkwardness of like, do I shake your hand? Do I not shake your hand? Are you like worried about it? Or should I don't want to act like I'm worried about it. Like, this is going to be a thing for a while, dude. It's going to be like a weird.
I have a bad habit. I have a very bad habit of just falling right back into it. Like I meet somebody new and I immediately go for the handshake. And then after I've done it, I'm like, damn it. Like, why did I probably shouldn't have done that.
Just stick with the handshake. You'll be all right.
It'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
Speaking of the club in Lux, I don't know if this is, whatever, too personal for the podcast, but don't worry about it because nobody really listens to it. Are you still like totally sober, not drinking?
Totally, almost 10 years in November.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's
Congrats,
it's
dude.
like,
Thank
Jesse
you,
and Hunter, you probably don't know this either, but like the three of us, me, Mike, and Frank, go back 12 years, 10 years, something like that, and like we used to party and whatnot, and all of a sudden Frank was like, "I'm not about it anymore," and we're like, "Cool, man." Cool, man. We'll give you the weekend or whatever.
Work out yourself.
Like,
you'll be back.
It's been 10 years. He got his life together, man. He's running a business.
You're successful now. We're proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. It's dope to have these kind of conversations, especially with people like you guys, because you were there from the beginning, So to some people, I'm Frank from Downstar, and then to other people, I'm Frank who's starting this company, Downstar. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So like, let's talk about that. I met you shortly after, I guess, through Greg Bucell.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I remember this correctly, Downstar was kind of a name that you had in high school. Is that true?
Yeah. So back in high school, it was about 2001 when I came up with the name. I was selling CDs. So I had a CD burner, and I would have like a whole list of all the CDs that I had in my collection. You're talking Led Zeppelin to Britney Spears, everything. So I would pass around that list at school, and people would say, "Oh, I want this CD." Say, "Okay, cool. I'll have it tomorrow. $4, quick." Just like that. I would sell to the teachers and stuff. So back then, I was into skateboarding. And I was into that brand Darkstar, and I just liked that name. So I was like, you know what? I want to have my own. I want to call this a business because I guess this is the business. I'm selling things and making money. So I'm going to call it Downstar. So I have the first shirt that I ever made. It was the Darkstar logo, but I changed the letters to say Downstar. And then it says bootlegging copywritten shit since 2001.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
That's where
LimeWire or LimeWire? What download service did you?
I never went on Napster.
Okay.
So it was always after
Okay.
Napster. So when it was like completely free, you know, so it was like Morpheus, LimeWire, BearShare.
I remember LimeWire. That was
whatever. There's usually like a couple other ones that would fall in. Oh, Kazaa was a good one
Oh
too.
my God, I hadn't heard that in a
You're
long
coming up
time.
with some old names.
Throw
right
it
now.
back with a stack of verbatim CDs.
Dude,
So-
and Morpheus too.
Oh my God, dude!
Yeah.
I'm back in my college
you, bro.
apartment now. Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so how did Hondas happen? Because you had like you still have, right, a Chevelle
muscle
or
car
some fucking muscle car or something like that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
how'd you go from that to Hondas, and how did you? I mean, this is a bunch of questions in one, but just kind of tell us the backstory. Like, how'd you go from that to Hondas and find appeal in a Honda hatch, and then how'd you go from Hondas to like, shoot, man, like I'm gonna make myself a home here. Like this is kind of my thing. Like I see a place or whatever. Like how did all that happen?
You know what, dude? This is like, it's like a movie, bro. It's weird how everything lined up, and I don't know if it's because I can see things, what they can be, the potential of what they can be, or I'm going in the right path or what, but it's so weird how things happen. So back in 2004, we left California and we ended up moving up to Northern Nevada, in Carson City, Nevada, because we had family up there. The houses were extremely expensive down here. So we sold our house here and bought a bigger house in Nevada, and we were just relocating. And so I started working at Best Buy doing installation because I was really heavy into car audio. I did car audio here in California. That's my shit.
I was Circuit City and Tweeter.
Yeah. So you know what it is, man. So it was like Best Buy is the entry level into that. So if you want to go work at like a mom and pop stereo shop, they would want you to start off at like a Best Buy. So you break everything or whatever you want to do there. So I wanted to work at Best Buy so then I could work at maybe a bigger stereo shop. So when I started working there, I started working with my lead at the time is Raul Ramirez, who is now the owner of Checkered Sports.
Oh.
So, yeah. So Raul, he was working over there and he's into Hondas. I show up with my Chevelle. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I'm the new guy. You know, of course, we end up hitting it off. And he's just all day, he's just on the computer, on the forums. Like, hey, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, we're just looking at parts. You know, I wasn't into Hondas. They were Hondas back in the day. Dude, I have a 350 Chevelle, bro. I'm not messing with the Hondas. So the longer that I hang out with him, the better the friendship gets. I start getting into the hobby a lot more. And I say, hey, well, I'm just going to join NWP because I don't have any friends in Nevada. You know, I don't have nothing to do. We just relocated. I have this dude. He's my friend. So let me just build this relationship. And dude, it's all downhill from there, man. It just, I got that bug. I just started watching the build threads. I remember I seen this car is, maybe you guys remember, is this guy on NWP Honda Tech. His name was Funhouse. I think his real name is Ryan, but it was Phunhaus. He had a right-hand drive EG silver one. And if I show you guys a picture, you'll know. But in the engine bay, it was completely tucked. It had been in like strut bar. And when I seen that engine bay, that it blew my mind because I've never seen any Honda look like that. So after that, dude, it was like, I need to get one of those. And then, you know, get the right-hand drive. And I actually got the right-hand drive in 2009. So from about 2005, getting into it, 2007, jumping on the forums, trying to figure things out, you know, get a hoopty Honda. And then come January 2009 is when I finally decided to get my own right-hand drive because Raul, he would get them imported and he would get them registered in Nevada and flipping them. So that dude had maybe like 20 right-hand drives that he would always bring to the install bay. And I'm just like, oh, another Honda.
Dang.
Hell yeah.
That's wild.
Was yours the black one? Was that your first right-hand drive? Okay, yeah, that's when I met you. That's the one that we featured. It's funny, dude, because our stories kind of line up. Like I was in Athens, Georgia, University of Georgia, and I was rolling down the street one time. I think I had a couple of cars at my apartment. I had my GST Eclipse. I had a Mark I GTI. I think I was in the GTI, and some dude kind of ran up on me like on the little highway and was like, yo, follow me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just followed this dude all the way to his house, and he had a buddy bitching Mark 1 for the time at his house. And so he was showing me that, and I ended up, he worked at Circuit City as one of the managers in the road shop or whatever they called the car audio. He was like, yo, you should come and get a job. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then got a job. And yeah, it's the same thing. Like, we all ended up clicking up together. We like worked together. We hung out together. We partied at night together. Our apartment was fast and furious because this was like 02, 03, you know, so it was all neons and giant subs. And we thought we were the coolest people in the whole apartment complex. And we would just beat the block up all night long. But it was fun, dude. It was the same thing. It like started this camaraderie, which pretty much honestly led to like the little friendly competition where we started, you know, throwing everything on our credit cards to build our cars up, which probably is what got me in a hole and got me hooked enough to you know, be in this for life or whatever. But that's where it stuck. That's where it's like, dude, I don't know what we're going to do after college, but it ain't going to be something stupid. That's for sure.
Right?
You know? So that's when ours kind of stuck. But hell yeah, man. So we featured that you don't still have that car, do you? The black EG?
Hell yeah.
My dude.
Hey, wait. The black EG is not the gray EG that you...
That's the left-hand drive. The gray's a left-hand drive.
I get them all confused. Okay. So you still got the black one, right?
Yeah.
What motors it got now?
Right now, nothing.
Oh,
Wait, so your black one is like your hoopty?
No. So,
okay.
So I had got 86 hatchback, which was my first Honda ever.
Okay.
That would actually be dope. I want that one now.
Dude, yeah. So I got that car, and I mean, that was my entry into the love of Hondas, you know, just beating the shit out of that car and just driving forever. And then after that, I got a 91 SI and just lowered on like springs. So I basically just started transition up eBay stuff, springs. And okay, I got a 92 SI Captiva Blue, and I'm like, I'm not messing with those. I'm doing it real. I'm doing Choquico Blues with Skunk 2 sleeves. I'm doing real suspension now.
Yeah.
And then I got rid of that car, and then I got the right hand in 2009. So I like to say that my career started in Hondas in 2009 because everything before it was just like a side hustle. Yeah, of course. It wasn't nothing serious.
Yeah.
So how did Downstar, the new version, like the bolts, start? Like, how did that, like, okay, so now you got a Honda, you're kind of like super into this import scene, you're starting to hit events and shit. Like, and I guess that's where we met because you started going out to the East Coast stuff a lot. But yeah, how did actual Downstar happen where you were like, man, I see something here?
So January 2009, I ended up getting the right-hand drive. I got it from G-Speed. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's a shop here in LA, which they would import so many cars, you know. So I ended up getting the right-hand drive. I knew how to work on cars already. Plus, I've been doing research for the last 2 years on the forums. You know, when people would do build threads or whatever DIYs, I would be like, oh, I want to do that one day. And, you know, since I was doing car audio, I was already familiar with how wiring works, how the electronics of a car works. So when you start working on a 92 Civic, it's way easier than like a 2005 Tahoe or something like that. Right. You know? So I get the car. I bought the car with no engine, brought it home. And then I'm just looking in the engine bay like, okay, I don't need this. I don't need this. Take a picture, text it to Raul. Hey, do I need this bracket? No, cut it off. Just cutting, welding, cutting, doing everything. And I even... So I'm putting the car together, right? We paint the engine bay. I finally get the motor. I actually did my first wire tuck ever on that motor. Just tearing apart the harness and be like, okay, this wire goes from here to here, but let's make it go this way, this way, this way, because that's just all I did in at Best Buy, you know. So once I'm putting it back together, then of course I don't have all the hardware because the motor wasn't even in the car, and the stuff that was there, it was rusted out or whatever, you know, just old looking. And with me I've always been very detail oriented. So if I'm going to put my time into something, I'm just not going to grab like a bolt from a random jar and put it on there. So I see people with dress up hardware on the forums, which was, I don't know if you guys remember, we call it the V1 hardware. It's like a stamped washer. It's kind of like a bubble with a Allen bolt, right?
Okay.
Right.
I've got a local buddy who has an Integra that he's had since it was brand new with V1 hardware on it.
No way.
Yeah, the whole engine bay. Yeah, he's had it since he was in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that I wanted that, but nobody would tell me where to get it from. Nobody sold hardware like they do now. And I think there was only one brand out before, which was the brand Gallery Fresh. I don't know if you guys remember Gallery Fresh, but they were selling hardware similar to ours. But you're talking maybe like, well, the prices that we're asking now for hardware back then when there wasn't a market.
Right.
So when everybody nobody's going to spend $250 on hardware because in 2009, that's just ridiculous. You know, the most people would do is like the Mugen hardware. And if you're balling, you're going to have, 20 pieces for the front and $500 on that just to like show your dick or whatever, but it's like, I can't spend that on that. Everybody on forums isn't telling me where to get the stuff. So I'm just like, okay, well, let me just go to this hardware store, take this bolt and see if they have something new at the least, something that looks better. So I ended up finding that hardware that I wanted, got it, put it on my build thread. And then the same way I was asking other people, they were asking me. And I've been a hustler since I was born, man. So I was like, shit, I got them for $1. What's up?
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That was about 2000. That was 2009, April 2009, when I started the website for Downstar. So between January and, well, I didn't start the website, started selling. So between January and April was when the whole idea of, hey, I could start selling these parts came to play. So then the Honda scene became double. It was a hobby. It was something that I could have fun with. But now I can make some money from it.
Yeah, you're in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you're kind of a one-man show. Is it still that way? Is it still pretty much you, or you got like guys that help you?
It's me and my guy Alex, and then my wife. She helps us now because she's not working anymore. So she's working at Downstar, which is awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
Dude, that's that's sick. Me and Mike actually, like when we're having our daily conversations or whatever, a lot of times we still to this day reference you in like, because you were really kind of on top of this transition. Like you used social media in a really smart, but like what's the word? Just kind of like genuine way. It wasn't like bye. You interacted with people and stuff. And we also talk about, you did it alone, which I kind of admire. I couldn't do that. Like look, like we're like a posse or whatever. We're like a crew. And I always like that. I need people around me or whatever. And I always thought it was kind of cool that you were able to kind of just, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you make the decisions that it takes to run a company without bouncing ideas? Like all three of these guys can vouch, like every random stupid little idea I have, we got to talk about it. Like we just bounce everything off, is it hard doing it on your own? Anyway, the point I was trying to like get to is that, you were kind of one of the forefront guys to like use social media and the changing landscape of business and everything to really go out there on your own and kind of create this thing. I just think it's pretty cool. Like,
thank you, man.
Yeah, dude. It was one of those things where like you were everybody's boy and buddy. It was kind of broke down this barrier of like, I'm company, you're consumer, and it was it was just different. it's hard to explain.
I know what you mean, dude. And I was listening to Scott's podcast that you guys did from Grip Royal. I appreciate you guys.
He's another one.
I relate to Scott so much because like we just get it, you know. I'm a very creative person, and all of this stuff that I do is feeding my creativity. So if I have to pass this idea around to other people to get my creativity out, I kind of want to stay away from that because I don't find many people that think the same way that I do. The way that I think about things, I've come to find out is a lot different than other people think about things. And that has been learned. I've learned that having so many interactions with people, and like you said, thinking that I have friends everywhere, but then you, at the end of the day, then you realize, yo, you're back by yourself again.
Yeah.
You know? So I've ever since I could remember, man, I've always just been a loner. You know, I remember even at high school, I would do my homework at lunch because I didn't have friends to hang out with. You know, I had my own ideas, my own things that I was into, my own morals. And it was just, maybe it was me just not getting out of my shell at that time, not making friends or anything, but I'm very comfortable being by myself. So when I see this thing that I could grow into something, because how I see things is if you can make money from something, just keep feeding to it, and then you make more money and then keep feeding. So I already knew that from, you know, the CDs, before that, Beanie Babies, Hot Wheel toys, whatever, dude. I used to slang everything, dude. So when I seen this, I was like, okay, the more I put into this, the more I'm going to sell. So then it kept going and going. And my first booth ever was IBOC 2010, which was, I think, March or May of 2010. So, and all that was, okay, this is a premier Honda event. Everybody on these forums is so excited to go there. Why don't I just hit them up and say how much for a space so I can go sell some stuff, just like a swap. That's how I thought of it.
Right.
You know, went over there, did great, and then it just like sparked so much in me. When you go from, you know, maybe $50 a week that I'm selling, and then I go to this show and I make like $800, I'm like, whoa, dude, this is my whole check, and I just made this in one day. So the whole thing about like not having a team or anything, trust me, bro, I would love to have a team, but I'm a different type of person. I'm a very hard personality to work with, not to be friends with, but to work with. And we have to be on the same kind of thought pattern, morals, and we would have to handle situations in a certain way, you know? So what I've come to find out about myself is it's really hard to have those kind of people that think the same way that I do, that we can grow together. So, you know, I'm doing all of this by myself, quote unquote, by myself. It's just because I haven't found many people to align with.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, and that's challenging because not only are you trying to find somebody who's like on the same frequency, but you also want to find somebody who is on the same frequency, but that can bring something special or something different to what you offer. Because if you're just, you know, two of the same people, I mean, it becomes redundant at that point. So it's good to have that like challenge, but something that also clicks and it flows well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's weird, man. I wonder what it is with like me, for example, because, you know, my wife always makes fun of me. She's like, you're friends with everybody. like, can you do business with somebody without immediately being like friends with them and just screwing up the whole business?
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. I think maybe with us, because it's a magazine, like a lot of times people have read the magazine, they've made some sort of connection with like the words and the personality, right? So like, I don't know. I think people feel some sort of bond to it because it is media, right? Because you're talking to people. And so I don't know. With like Jesse and Hunter, it was one of those things. Like Jesse was like, I remember, you know, he was like reading the magazine and a fan and like new stuff and was like, dude, like I'm with it. So like he already knew that his personality and mine would just click. Like it was just, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, and that's what happened with my guy Alex. You know, he would just come in and buy some parts. He had like a big Downstar sticker on his car. He was a local, and his like parents would come in around Christmas to buy him stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is a good dude. So when I needed to add a person, I just like, hey man, do you need like a part-time job or something? And he came on as part-time, and just his work ethic was amazing, and we ended up bringing him on full-time, and he's actually leaving in October because he's going to be going to San Diego for college, which is awesome, you know. So it was great to find somebody like that. But you're right, man, I can't just put an ad online and say, hey, we need somebody to pack bolts, because I want somebody to understand what we're doing, to be passionate about it, and then deal with the problems of is this person going to screw me? Are they just using me as a stepping stool? You know, and that's happened already. And it's just like when all of these things happen, it really builds your guard up.
Yeah.
And with everything in total. And that's why I say I like talking to you guys because I've known you for so long, you know, but if I have a combo with somebody else, I don't know what their intentions are. And I've seen more bad intentions than good intentions in this last 10 plus years of being in this community. So it's just like, I don't want to be jaded, but definitely guards are up. And if I'm letting anybody into our circle, they have to be somebody that I know their character. It's not about sales or can you pack this? Can you that we'll work on that. I want to know like in the core as a person that we align. And if we do, then let's build something, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, us guys, like we're in it. Like it's what we live and breathe. So the people who are coming in, you know, for the weekend or for the first few months when it's hot right now, you know, those people get changed in and out all the time. So to try to link up on a level that we're at to somebody who's not quite there yet, I definitely see that conflict of like trust of like, hey man, I busted my ass to get here and I spent years and years. So, I mean, I'm supporting you in any way I can if you want to do that hard work too. But this ain't a charity, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, Frank, I got to tell you, man, hearing you explain it like that and the way that you have your guard up and everything, I respect the hell out of it because I'm a business-minded guy. And all I hear is you basically saying that you're an awesome businessman. And for as long as I've known you, you've always been a hustler and a really, really awesome businessman, sound mind, you know, good morals and doing it all the right way, which is hilarious because me and Wooly are the polar opposite. We're really good at making a magazine,
not good
and
business
shenanigans and making deals. We suck at business, man.
Well, that's a job. Mike is actually very good at it. I bring him down.
It brings me way down, though.
Persistent. Mike's very persistent. I love that.
Yeah. But that's what makes me and Mike work is, you know, I'm the pain in the ass dreamer or the whatever, so-called creative, and he's like the business guy. But that's what you need for a magazine to survive, you know, because you gotta have those kind of like butting of heads. You know what I mean? You don't want a magazine that's totally sold out garbage because we just say whatever, you know, just feed us stuff and pay us money and we'll put it in there. And at the same time, you do have to make a magazine run. Yeah.
I mean, and that goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, I feel like the two of you guys, you're all on the same frequency, but y'all offer something different to the table to where it makes that, you know, it makes that spark that much better.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, I definitely have a lot of respect for you guys for, you know, just keep coming out with the magazine and, you know, for just doing it this long, man. There's very few people that I have like this respect for. And that's why I say you, Scott, you know, so some of the people that I see grinding because I know what that grind is. Yeah. I know what it's like to wake up at 5 a.m. to have to go to this show. And you're just like, why the fuck did we have to come at 5? Nobody's here for 3 hours.
You must be talking about Import Alliance.
I was about to say it, man. I'm sure we're going to name drop.
The cops won't let in, but.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm always like, Don, why can't we just say 9?
Can we just agree on 11? Can we just agree on 11? Come on.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude. Till midnight, 11 to midnight, whatever, dude. Let's fucking rock. But it's just,
I know,
it's hard.
I go through the whole weekend like a zombie. You know what I mean? It's just, you're freaking out of it.
Oh, yeah, and then you're ruined on Monday. Frank, I just remembered something, man. The first time me and you ever did business together, please explain to our audience the first artwork, the first ad you ever sent to me.
I wish I had it, right? I don't have any.
I have it somewhere.
Explain it, because I think I know what you're talking about.
So it's the, I actually have a picture in the hallway. It's a picture, it looks like a drug scene.
Yes.
Bagging bolts.
Yeah. It was super sketchy. And I said, man, why did you send this to me? And he said, because I know that nobody else would run it, but you guys would.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was perfect, bro. Is that...
You guys are all like wearing masks and you got gloves on. It looks like you're bagging coke, but it's just
Isn't
bolts and stuff. It was funny
like
as hell.
Freaking lo mein or something.
I'm eating Chinese.
I remember that shit. So this is the first issue that I got as a subscriber.
I saw
that. Yeah. I'm trying to look through it. It's this one right here.
Is that the one?
James Dean.
That's it, right?
But
damn it, we were so freaking badass in those days, dude. Talk about not giving a single solitary crap.
Yep, not giving a crap.
Yeah.
Well, I
Look,
think it was,
the cover says
that,
James effing Dean on the front. And remember, Skunk 2 used to
that's
have
what I was
those
gonna say.
Oh
where
yeah.
yeah, dude. It has that dude like giving 2 middle fingers with his boobs out. It just says haters gonna hate.
Worker they found.
Yeah. Dude, that's what gets me so stoked about the import scene or whatever the hell you want to call it these days, because I know the import scene is kind of dated sounding, but like that's it, dude. Like that's it right there, where independent companies are working with like independent companies. There's none of this politics of like, yo, I don't think we can say no bitch assness in an ad or whatever. But like
That's it.
There it
is.
is.
Right there.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I remember seeing this. I'm like, what are these guys
firearms in that ad?
I can tell.
That's a real AR.
But see, that's the kind of crap that, dude, 18-year-old me would see that and be a fan for life. Not only a fan of Downstar, a fan of S3, a fan of the whole freaking culture. I would, want to go to whatever event was coming up. I think that the import side of the automotive aftermarket has lost some of that. Like, for real.
Yeah.
We had an advertiser. I won't name names, but their initials are SSR. And they got their absolute panties in the wad over a joke that we had in the back of the magazine, and it was just like, I'm scared to even say
of a joke.
It wasn't. I've told a lot worse. Not
to be fair, man. I've had to apologize to a lot of people for the jokes that Wooly has put in the back of the magazine.
See, and I don't know, man. When I got into the import community, it was just like having fun. That's what I didn't take it seriously. I needed an ad. I needed a dope ass picture. I've thought of this concept prior. Brandon McRae from Skunk 2, used to work at Skunk 2.
Yeah, dude, freaking awesome.
He and I were actually going to make that picture, but we were going to do it in a commercial. So the commercial was going to be like, I pull up to a house, whatever, trap house, there's people outside or whatever, but it never came together. So when I needed an ad, I just called my buddy up and I called some of my friends and I said, hey, let's take this picture. And it's just, like I said, man, it just falls together. And I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't think like this is going to be the most iconic picture that you're ever going to do. It was just like, hey, bro, can you come take this picture real quick? Okay, cool. Hey, we got to go get Chinese food. Got to get $1,000 in ones. We got to get rubber bands. Okay, do this. Okay, cool. Take the picture. All right.
Shit, man.
And then that's it. But you know what that picture really did? It put us in a different light where people didn't expect us to be that professional brand. You're not going to see us at SEMA with ties on. That's just not the kind of brand we are, which really helped out to this day because I just started a cult, like a literal cult.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it a cult. It's a cult, and it's going to be, it's the third definition of a cult. So it's not the first, it's the third. But I couldn't do this stuff if I was another company.
Well, dude, and me and Mike wrestle with that all the time, dude. Like, not so much anymore. I feel like it's kind of mellowed out. But like 4 or 5 years ago, obviously the big thing if you're trying to sell ads in a print magazine is, well, print doesn't work anymore. We're not seeing results because they can see the results online. You can't see the results in print. You have to trust in the results, and that was always our frustration. And you came up a lot in that as best as we could, but like, it was like, yo, you're not seeing the results because you're not freaking saying anything. You're putting some conservative adult Evo in an ad with some, ambiguous text below it that doesn't say anything. Nobody gives a shit, man. Like, you are a company. What are you about? Like, what people need bolts, but they want to buy bolts from somebody that they believe in. You know what I mean? Like, just like I want to buy a car from a car company that has passion, not, whatever. So, it's just, that means a lot to people when you're in the enthusiast realm. You know, people want to align themselves with like-minded companies and support those companies and whatnot. You can't do that when you're not saying anything. When you buy an ad in a magazine or anywhere, that is your chance to say who you are. That's your freaking microphone and your little podium. And at least you and Skunk back in the day, you know, and there were a handful of other dudes that are like really saying it. And it created an import culture that was a lot like the skate culture. You know, it was very like punk rocky. It was very anti, you know, whatever, anti any sort of structure or what. And that's the problem with the aftermarket now, is it's in this thing where it's like it tries to be edgy, but then it's corporate. You know, it's like they go just there to the edge, but then they won't cross it. You know, and it's just kind of like, come on, man, give us a reason. Like, where is the reason to get rid of all practicality and buy a car that doesn't make sense and throw money into it, you know, just so you can go screaming down the street? Like, it's got to stand for something.
You know, it's funny. It brings back a story. I was at IBOC one day. It was either like Joey's Meat or something, but it was at the IBOC facility. And I'm having a conversation with Dave Sue from Skunk 2. And he was telling me about that article, and he said, you know, you should probably do things that are less controversial, because with stuff like this, you're never going to be able to do anything with like big corporate brands like Honda. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Thanks for the advice, you know, but then I'm just like, do you think that I want to do things like with Honda, bro? Like, does that doesn't represent my brand, dude. Like, this is what my brand is. This is what I represent. Like, either you like it or you don't. And, you know, there's a lot of people that like it, or there's a lot of people that don't. But I don't want anybody that's in the middle. You know, I want diehard people who are down with what we're doing, or people that just don't even want to pay attention to it. That's what I'm looking for, you know?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, you got me getting nostalgic now. Screw it, Mike. We're going to go back to pissing off advertisers and cussing on covers.
You know what? I had to do a lot of apologizing, a lot of ass kissing, but at least it was interesting. We need to go back to it.
It was fun, man.
It is fun, man. And, you know, all that stuff, like the controversy and everything like that, like looking back at it now, there's a lot of things that I wish that I didn't do. But it was me. It was who I was. And it was that dude in the fucking picture. That's what it was. Give
me an example of something you wish that you didn't do. What's like a big regret? What's like I wish I hadn't freaking done that?
Giving people a platform. Meaning I've mentioned brands that if I didn't go at them so hard, maybe other people wouldn't have even seen them on their radar, and I wouldn't have given that bump. You know, and that's to this day, if somebody says anything bad on me online, I'll just, you know, hey, I'm sorry you feel like that, man. I hope you're having a better day later. Because I understand what it is now. I'm giving somebody a platform. If I say, you know what, if I go on right now and I say, you know what, guys, fuck S3. They never wanted to feature my car. Fuck them. You know how much followers you guys are going to get? Because not everybody's not on my side. First of all, people are going to think like, what the hell what's wrong with this S3? And then they go check it out and they're like, oh, pretty cool stuff over here. Frank must be tripping. So now I could lose people on that side, have them on your side.
Yeah, or you get the people that like S3 and Downstar, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, like I have to pick a side here? Yeah, dude. We've been down that path a lot, you know, where it's kind of like, oh, how do we react? And I mean, I've learned a lot of times you let it go, man. You let it go for 24 hours and then it's not as important as it was. And that's especially true on social media. There is something that lights a fuse and you are just like, nah, I'm going to freaking kill this dude. You know, and you get all
keyboard
like, but like literally 10 times out of 10, you let it go for 24 hours and you don't give a shit anymore and it's fizzled.
And then, you know, even in certain situations like the problem that I had with Martell, you know, I'm just like, man, I wouldn't have to be a dick online. Like, yo, where's your car at? Where's your car? Like a competition, friendly or not. It was like, yo, you're being a dick for no reason. So
do you, I mean, is that something that you want to talk about? You want to talk about the IA Martell thing?
Everything.
Because that was honestly something that I saw the beginning. And then I remember, like, the banter turned like, oh, shit, that was good. And then I basically, as S3 just went la 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 la. I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch.
So you have to give some background, right? So at some point in the past, there was some beef with Import Alliance and Downstar, not indirectly, directly. Now, Frank, here's your platform to explain.
Got you. And I've already talked to everybody involved, so it's not, we have no problems with anybody involved anymore. It's just like, it goes back to the thing where you think that you have a certain relationship, you're expecting people to handle situations the way that you would handle them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's a lot of mistakes that I made back then. And we had a friendly competition build that we were doing, and then you're right, Willie. Somewhere it just turned like ugly. Yeah. And when egos become involved, and when you have people on each side like stirring the pot, it's going to get
escalating.
Escalating. And that just turned into a situation that didn't need to happen. But I don't want to say that I regret it, because it really helped me fast forward into where I'm at today. Because maybe I wouldn't be in this mind state today if things like that didn't happen and it like fast forwarded it, But it's just playing out things inside of the public, having public opinion. And, just like you said, Willie, you're having people like, you're in the middle because we're cool with each other now. And the respectful thing is don't say nothing. Yeah. And that's how I am right now. If you guys were beefing with somebody, I'm not going to say nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay up. I'm going to stay away, because at the end of the day, it's two grown men going at each other. But that situation turned into another situation that turned into another one that ended up with Import Alliance didn't want us at their events anymore, which really bummed me out, because take back to 2010 IBOC, first booth ever, right? A few months later, our second booth ever was at Import Alliance in the summer. So it was 2010 summer. So in between that time, I actually got in contact with Don from Bon. Bon hooked me up with Don. Yeah, and we ended up talking. Don invited me to the event. So from 2010 till whenever we weren't invited there anymore, it was like we were there every single event. Wherever it was, we were there. And that was me just showing my loyalty, because Don took care of me. He made me feel comfortable about going out there. And if I would have never went out there, I wouldn't have met so many people. Dude, I would have been just another California brand that stays in California.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that, I really feel like the East Coast was a huge kind of like momentum force for you and Downstar.
Hell yeah.
Man, like, you got a lot of support out of those earlier years at IA, like the 2010, 11, 12, 13, when it was really exploding. Yeah.
Yeah. And it meant a lot to me, and then for these situations to happen. And I really looked at Don as like an OG. And what I think an OG needs to do is, when two of your friends, acquaintances, whatever, are having a quarrel, you have to jump in there and say, hey man, let's talk about this, get your side, put it together and fix it. It wouldn't have taken a lot to do that. But like it was from one thing that I did. It was I stole that company's name and I used their website to redirect to Downstar.
I do remember.
No, you didn't.
Wait, hold on. Let me rephrase this.
Are we serious?
You got the domain name before they did or something, didn't you?
Well, it was not their company domain name. It was their product line.
Okay.
So I took the product line and redirected that to Downstar, because if we're playing dirty, we're playing dirty. I don't want to play dirty, but we're going to play dirty. You're pushing into this. Oh, yeah, dude. But then 3 hours later, I get the call and say that you're not invited to Import Alliance no more. And I'm like, wow, bro, without even like trying to mend anything, or like you've actually seen me grow up. You've seen that there was 0 products out at your events that were comparable to mine. And now you're just like taking this person's side when they're doing something that's unscrupulous, to me anyways. So this is me looking at the whole situation, me with my emotions, not looking at it from anybody's point of view. And just to get the boot, bro, it bummed me out. It bummed me out a lot, dude. I had, like Wooly said, man, I probably did maybe like 10 to 15 events with them, met so many people. It was an experience every time I went. And for that to be handled like that, it really bothered me a lot. And that was kind of the first sign to show like, hey, maybe all these people aren't really your friends. Maybe they're your friends because now you have something to offer.
Yeah.
Well, and if you guys are listening and live like whatever outside of the Southeast on the West Coast or whatever, like IA is really a great event for somebody from the West Coast like Frank to come to, because it's huge. You know what I mean? Like the people that would go there, it had enough pull to where it was that event that you could check off the whole East Coast. You know what I mean? Like by going to that, or at least the Southeast, I would say. That's our problem a lot getting out to the West Coast, is that like Southern California is so sub cultured now. For a magazine from S3, what do we go to? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you've got the Eibach Honda meet, or you've got the Luft whatever Porsche meet, or you've got the, nostalgic Toyota meet, and it's like, damn it, can you guys just get together for one weekend so we can afford the airfare to get out there, But I'm sure, dude. I'm sure that was a blow, not only like business wise, but like all your bros on the East Coast. Like I don't see you like I used to see you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it just I really had a lot of friends that didn't hit me up much after that.
Oh, really?
When you feel like you're in the right, you're handling the situation in the right way, and then everything just falls apart, it makes you think like, wow, am I the one who's wrong? Am I in the wrong? So I'm trying to look at things from all different perspectives, and I was in the wrong because I expected people to have the same morals that I did. But come to find out, in business, there's really no morals in business. And that's why they say business is business. And that made me realize that these friendships are not friendships. This is, they're being friends with me, so I keep coming to their event. And when I was causing controversy, which was gonna sell so many tickets, so many more people would have went. And then that ended up, that rage built inside of me, and I redirected it towards Martel, which I don't blame him for everything to this day. Like we both had big egos at that time, and when you both have big egos, it's something bad is going to end up happening, and you're not going to be friends like you were before, so it just caused a lot of bullshit. And I saw him at SEMA when his car was there, and it was just like, fuck all this shit, dude. Like this dude's been trying hard to get this car done. He's put so much time into this. His car made it to SEMA, inside of SEMA. I'm going to check this car out. I'm going to go show him some love. And dude, it's been great ever since then. I spoke to Don at the same event and told him the same thing I'm telling you guys, and just wished him the best, because I don't have problems with Don. I don't want anything to happen to him or Import Alliance, but it's just when you come to the point where your morals don't line up, then we kind of can't do business anymore. It is what it is,
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks for us. I mean, it sucks for us because I don't care about like the details of it. It's like when a band breaks up that you like, it's like when Blink-182 breaks up. I don't care why. I just don't like that it happened, and I want it to be back together. It was one of those things.
Exactly, man. And it didn't have to go that far, but I wasn't stopping myself, and they weren't stopping themselves, and there wasn't anybody who was looking at the situation trying to mend things on both sides.
Yeah, there was never a mediator.
Yeah, which I mean, it's nobody's position. They don't have to do it. It's just unfortunate how everything ended up happening. Yeah.
Something I've learned along the line of S3, and it's really kind of helped me out, is like people ain't perfect. Like it's just not, nobody, including yourself. Like nobody is going to handle every situation the way that you want them to. And that's what causes a lot of problems. Is like, oh, I want them to act like this, and they're not acting like once you could let go of that and realize, you know what, like we're all freaking have our problems, and we're not going to handle everything perfectly. And once you stop expecting that kind of like perfect response out of people, dude, it helps me out so much. So many times you get frustrated, and in relationships too, like not just work, but like your relationships at home. Like you can be in the middle of a heated argument, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what? This person's not perfect. Why do I expect them to act perfectly all the time? Why do I expect them to react exactly the way I expect them to in that moment? It ain't gonna go like that sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta realize and whatever,
It's definitely helped me realize that accountability is a huge thing for me, and it's a huge positive. I'll take accountability for stuff that's not even my fault because I want to be in control of my life 100%. So when something happens, and I never say, hey, that's not my fault, because obviously something that I did had me involved in that situation where I could allow it to go bad. Where it could be somebody else's fault or what have you. If I put myself in a situation, then I'm in there. Just say with business, we send out parts to customer and they don't get them. That's not my fault. But it's not their fault. But who's the one that's gonna lose out in the end? Is it gonna be me? Or is it going to be this customer that maybe spent like the last $300 that they had extra? I'm like, dude, I'll take the loss. I'll send you the stuff. I'm sorry it went like that. I try to take accountability as much as I can, man, because when I leave it up to other people, it seems like I get disappointed so much, and I just don't think that that's a great quality when somebody just says, oh, it wasn't me. It's not my fault. It wasn't me. It's just spilling something on the floor. Oh, it wasn't me. It doesn't fucking matter. There's something on the floor that doesn't belong there. So clean it up.
And whether you like it or not, I mean, even if it is somebody else's, like, that's your brand, that's your name. And it'll take you 10 years to build it up, but it's one little slip up, even if it's from somebody else, to knock it all down.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I look at it, too, is that if there's another company that's making products like ours, on the other end of it, there's a son, there's a father, there's a husband, and their family is proud of them, just like my family's proud of me. So regardless of anything they're selling or whatever, like, I can't hate on this person because a lot of people are looking up to them. They look at them like, wow, this is probably the first person that had a business in our family, or he's making the family business keep going, and they're proud of him, man. And the things that I would have to say about the way that they run business or anything like that, what does that even matter? It doesn't matter at all. And it's not going to get me more customers talking shit about somebody else's products, and it's not going to mean that since they're here that I'm not going to make money. So once I realize that, it's like, bro, keep doing what you're doing. I wish you the best.
That's an enlightening level of empathy that some people don't even get by the time they leave this earth.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, exactly. And we're dealing it right now in our whole freaking country. Like, you're not going to change people's opinion by fighting. Like, that's just not, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be the example. You have to kind of be that light. And sometimes you have to take it on the damn chin. And
definitely.
It's just the way it is, But like,
with that, even with that company, I went to an event that we were both going to be at. I went up to the booth, stuck my hand out. I was like, hey, man, you know what? I wish you guys the best. And my hand was chilling right there until I was finished saying what I was saying. And then he shook my hand, But I'm like, you know what? Whatever, bro. I wish you guys the best. Do what you're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And we're going to keep on keeping on. That doesn't mean that we have to do business together, but it doesn't mean we have to fight each other.
Well, saying that probably just takes so much off of your shoulders or your mind. You know what I mean? Like, you did what you wanted to do, and that's fine. He could have just looked at you dead in the eye and given you the finger, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? Because you said what you wanted. Fine. All right. Like, that's cool. But man, I don't know. Whatever. You live and you learn. I'm trying to think.
It's growing, man. It's just, I'm growing in front of everybody. That's basically how I feel. There's been so many people just like you guys that have seen me from the start to where I am right now, and I'm every year I'm growing and evolving. If you're holding me to the standards that I was 2 years ago, I don't even fuck with that guy who I was 2 years ago.
So I agree with you, man. That's
So,
cool as shit to like see like that level of humility too, because a lot of people out here are like, I don't need to grow anymore. I'm the best of the best or whatever. And there's a certain level of like, I don't know, arrogance with that. And I think a little bit of humility goes a long way.
There's definitely a lot of insecurities in that. There's a lot of insecurities in ego and pride and bravado. And if you've been there before, if you've done that, it's very easy to recognize, I feel for a lot of these people that that do that still to this day, older guys trying to like prove themselves. I'm like, bro, you don't have to do that, man. We're not in that age anymore. So I'll put out my insecurities before anybody can even say them. Like, if you listen to the podcast, dude, I talk about, anything and everything that I think is wrong with me. Cause like, it's like 8 Mile, dude, what are you going to say about me now, dude? Like,
yeah. All right. So let's talk about the podcast. How the hell how did you decide that this is something you want to do? And you've been committed as hell to it.
Yeah, dude, it's, I think we just did 180 on Thursday.
Damn.
180 podcasts.
We started in September 2018.
Okay. All right. And so now it's
been a steady grind too, dude. For you to have such a small team, if you even want to call it a team, more like family. I mean, I keep up with you. I keep up with, I try to keep up with all the homies of the industry or whatever, and I see you, Instagram posts about the podcast every day, if not multiple times a day, guess that you're having 3-4 hour long podcasts where you're really just digging down into the character of a person, and so what's that like? Because I mean, I'm sure you're seeing probably the same views as us. Like, we're averaging 300 views at most. I think that's what your average is too.
Yeah, something like that.
So one of the things that we get discouraged on, we're like, why do we care? Why are we doing this? We're putting all this effort into this podcast and nobody's listening. How do you fight that?
I can't tell you. I'm fine. I need an episode for Monday and I don't have one. And it's just because I don't have the motivation real quick, dude. It just comes and goes, With the idea of the podcast is, I've always been a fan of podcasts, and
me too. Yeah.
Ever since Do It for a Living, you guys remember that podcast with Reed Lundy from KS Tune, Kaizen Speed?
I don't listen to podcasts. I
never saw that one.
Got you. Well,
not even his own.
You should.
I really don't even listen. Once this is done, I will not listen to it. I have a very hard time watching, especially listening to myself, because I sound like to bring up Blink again, I sound like a hideous version of Tom DeLonge, whatever his last name is, from Blink-182. Like, I feel like right now I'm like, dude, I look cool as shit. I got dreads. I got this new hat on. I got a voice like The Rock. And then I hear myself, I'm like, guys, it's really important to be humble. And it's just like, dude, I can't watch this crap.
Everybody sounds different to themselves, dude. But it's so that podcast, Do It for a Living, Reed Lundy, he has the brand. It's called KS Tune. So they specialize in like H series parts, and now they're in like Corvettes and things like that. But anyways, he had a podcast, and I would follow him just being friends of the industry, and then I seen him post up like Dave from Skunk 2, I think it was. So I said, okay, cool, let me check this out. It's such a great interview. And then it was like Brian Gillespie from Haspor. And then it was John Villos from K-Tune. I'm like, wow, these are like companies that I love.
Yeah.
I know these dudes, but I don't know these stories about them. So I heard their actual stories and I just got infatuated with it. And I just always thought like, man, I want to have my own podcast. So, one day, Christian Loza from Can I Beat, he has a podcast called How It's Done. And he came to the shop and wanted to do an episode. And that dude had everything in his backpack. I was like, well, that's all you need? So he set it up. I seen how it went. I seen everything. I seen the pie get built or baked. I seen the pie get baked. And then I seen him put it out. I listened to him like, wow, dude. And it's on iTunes. Picture popped up. I'm like, dude, what? How do you do it? And him being a great guy, he's like, yo, anything you need, let me know. He sent me the entire list of all the equipment he had. I talked to my wife and she's like, just buy it. Like, who cares? Because it was expensive. It was like $1,500 for everything that I needed. Mm-hmm. So I bought it. I did maybe like 10 episodes with friends before we even released it. And then just went to it and just started doing podcasting, and it's just takes practice, man. It's being able to talk to people and have long form conversations, and to be on the fly takes a while.
I feel like after a while, you're just talking with homies, and I feel like in this industry, I mean, talking with other people who have a different mindset. I mean, whether you do it on podcast or not, it's just a form of growth.
Hang on a second, Jesse. Hold that thought. Mike, what the hell are you laughing at?
my oldest son just came down here and he's being goofy. Sorry.
Okay. I figured it was something like that. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, when you're talking to people who have different mindsets, that's a form of growth, whether you have it on a podcast or not. So once you get into the realm of, I mean, we do it every day, but just getting comfortable with doing it on a podcast, I feel like it becomes second nature. So if you just look at it as like this is just a form of growth, just talking to another person who's got a different mindset. I mean, I think that's the way to kind of look at it.
Well, yeah. The way that I think about it is, there's a quote that I love. It's a smart person learns from their mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So everybody that I talk to, I'm asking them these certain questions because I'm trying to understand how they think, why they think what they think, and just get as deep into them as possible. And I leave that podcast with more knowledge.
Yeah.
And now I have 180 podcasts of more knowledge that I would have never had. Plus, I'm making connections with people that I would never really have business even talking to. You know, not only car guys that aren't really interested in dress-up hardware, but like non-car guys. You know, just random people, and it's amazing, man. And now it's getting to the place where I can give somebody a platform to talk about their company, talk about their product, a brand, or whatever they have to offer, and I can be that person that nobody really ever was for me. You know, because like besides like S3, I really didn't have much placement in any other magazines, and if I did, it was just like, you know, a small picture here or there. I really didn't have many people that like wanted to know more about the company, wanted to know more about the business, was intrigued by what we're doing. And maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but it was like, I never really had many platforms to even help me get ahead. So, which nobody owes me that. And maybe that's the way that our industry is that we just don't have that many people to uplift other people. So I wanted to do that, and I'd like to say that we've helped people talk about their stories or what have you, and maybe some other people have gravitated towards them now, you know?
Yeah. Frank, you bring up a really good point, and one thing that I really love about podcasts is it gives you a glimpse into how many more amazing people there are out there. You know, for different reasons. Because, you know, if you just watch social media and you watch the news and TV and stuff, it makes it seem like there's a very select few, you know, really, really talented people. And that's just not true. Like everybody's kind of amazing in their own way. And a lot of people have done some really, really awesome stuff that you would never know about unless you tune in. Like, for example, I mean, I don't listen to many podcasts, but, you know, Joe Rogan is one of them, one of the big popular ones. But he's got so many people on there. I don't even know 9 out of the 10 people he has on there in a given, you know, month or whatever. But they all have amazing stories and awesome accomplishments and stuff like that. And that is really cool to see. I love the fact that podcasts bring that out.
Yeah, it's definitely that in-depth. I mean, it's not like an Instagram post where somebody's choosing their best moment and it's like the face or the cover. You know, it's a really in-depth, like, here's an hour long and we're going to get into it.
Just think about like Ron Bergenholtz. You guys familiar with Ron Bergenholtz? Mm-hmm. Well, he's one of the pioneers of the racing community in Hondas. You know, Miles Bautista, Steph Papadakis. All of these guys that I'm mentioning, you could maybe find 10, 15 minutes here or there about what they've done. But can you sum up what you've done in the last 10 years in 10, 15 minutes? They're like, no, dude, all of these guys deserve like a deep intellectual conversation to be asked about those questions. I'll ask these people questions like, wow, I haven't thought about that since that happened. Talk to them about 20 minutes. Their wall starts coming down, and then you're like, all right, let's really get in.
Well, it's true because they probably do. They give the same little 15-minute speech in every magazine or every little whatever media thing that it is. And then, you get into a podcast and all of a sudden, it's like you said, those walls come down.
And then you find out Scott was part of a band.
Yeah, exactly. And then even Mark Arsenal from Illis. We had Mark on the podcast, and Illis is fucking huge, and it's crossed over so many platforms besides automotive, and that's what I want Downstar to do, is to cross over. So I'm basically able to just sit down with this person for 2 to 3 hours and pick their brain about whatever I want to.
Yeah,
and I love it.
How did he do that? He came from Nike or something, didn't he?
He came from Nike, yeah. So, but there's like a little more to that. Nike wasn't really the thing that like catapulted the brand. It was kind of the thing that he came up with while he was working at Nike. But he's just a hustler, man. He's just a hustler, and it's
He was one of those early companies though that I started kind of watching and getting like whoa, like what is going on here? This is like a turning point, because you used to have a brand made things, and that was kind of it. And then it started changing, where it's like, okay, the brand is like him, and what they make is like what he's into. Like it kind of went from like, it was cars, and then he was making like bicycle stuff because he got into that. And it's like, how the hell? Well, you are like that in a way, because like, I'm like, Frank makes bolts, but like he's also got a full-on apparel brand. That's like, but like he makes bolts. How does bolts become sexy enough to be an apparel brand? I'm like, what is going on? It's like all of a sudden these brands are just following people through their lives. It's just like everybody has their own little screen name or whatever. Downstar, you got your little avatar name, and then your brand becomes your journey. It's kind of, well, like you're doing skateboard stuff, right? I mean, that's fairly news to me. I know you were messing with it, but like I'm not in the skateboard world. Like, how long have you been doing that stuff?
Probably about maybe like 6 months or so. My son, he got into skateboarding about a year and a half ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like your brand is following your life journey,
Yeah, just add to anything that I want to add to it. The way that I look at business is probably a lot different than other people. It's you sell something and you give something. That's it. You get money, you give something, whether it's bolts or skateboards or whatever it is, and what I want Downstar to be is just a lifestyle brand that includes whatever I'm into. This is my cult, this is my community. So if you want to be into this community wholeheartedly, or you want to just see what it's about, like this is what we're about. That picture, that's what we're about. The music, that's what I'm about. Like I'm into everything, and I've come to the point in life where I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about 5 years, 10 years. I don't care about none of that shit. What I want to do is just enjoy my life that I'm living, and we'll figure out the rest later, because I spent so much of my 20s just hustling and trying to get ahead and hustling. But then you get to a point where you're just like, okay, all my bills are paid. I bought every stupid thing that I wanted to, but I'm still not happy. What's going to make me happy? Because society told me that money was going to make me happy. Society told me that a bunch of people, having the attention of a bunch of people is going to make me happy. Having a bunch of friends is going to make me happy. But then you realize that all of those things aren't genuine. Because people are around for the wrong reasons. So it's just, it's really made me dial things back a lot more, get a lot more in touch with family rather than friends and acquaintances, and just enjoy life as it comes. And
how old were you when you started really figuring all that shit out?
I would probably say late 20s, early 30s.
It's like same with me, man. Right around 29, everything that I thought I knew, like got flipped on its head. Like that's when I kind of went off the grid. That's when I just got like totally like, whoa. Screw this, screw that. I don't care if we have the biggest magazine. I don't fucking care what Super Street's doing. And it just became very much, it's like you said, everything started to make sense. It was like, what do I really want here? Like, do I want to get so tired? Do I want to become so successful that I don't enjoy cars or I'm not even at home anymore. Like, like it's that kind of thing. I don't know. I just kind of became like well, we're going to do what we want to do, and we're going to have a good time doing it, and we're going to stay true to like kind of our core thing. And another thing, this sounds so stupid, but like one of the things that really started to bother me was that I dedicated my whole life to car culture, and cars are materialistic, and the car scene is materialistic, and it's very much based on your cool points is how much money you spent checking off boxes on your car. And it's like, it became really disenchanting. And it was like, dude, look at the surf culture. Like, they're not like that. The surf culture is like literally spiritual, like they're out there, and I was like, there's no reason that car culture can't be that, but we are on the wrong freaking track, like this whole, like, you have to build it like this to be cool enough to get on my website or my, magazine or whatever it is. Like, that is not what it's freaking about. Like, I don't give a damn how nice your car is. You know what I mean? I just don't. I just, like, hopefully it's the same. And that's kind of what Stillhood was about, it was about that mentality of like, look, we're not going to do what everybody else in traffic is doing. That ain't us. Like, we're going to do it our way, come hell or high water. And, I don't know, man. It was that same late 20s thing, and then now I'm 40. And so far, I've spent an entire decade kind of on that same, like whatever path. So hopefully this is the one that sticks.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that, bro. And I have my own idea of what cool is. Yeah. There's an attitude, there's a personality. It's how you treat people. That's what I deem is cool. Not what I see is like, money and this and bitches and all that is like, right. I don't think that that's cool. I think what I think is cool. So when you mention about you got to have this car to get into this show, this magazine or this, like, I know everybody in the industry and I know the people behind them, and I know that those people are not cool. Those people are not fun.
It's empty. Cool. Like, you talk to them, there's an emptiness of like, and then I got this. And I'm like, BFD, man. I don't, like. Yeah.
So like, I don't, the people that others look up to, that want to be like, that look up, that like want to emulate their life, I'm like, okay, that's not cool to me. So basically everything I want to do, everything I'm doing at Downstar is because I think it's cool. If nobody else thinks it's cool, it is what it is, because I've been by myself already. So whatever.
Do you think there's a chance in hell we can ever change that in car culture? Like I said, it's so opposing, because cars are, at the end of the day, they're freaking materialistic, and it's really hard to draw that line of like, am I doing this to impress people? Is that really what, I mean, I do that all the time with all my cars. I'm like, man, I got to make sure that I stay true, that I'm doing what is in like my heart, like that's kind of the thing with people are like, why are you messing with that Fiesta? I'm like, because it is me in a car. It's like this little underdog thing. It's so much fun. And I know it ain't the best car. It's not as good as a Type R nearly, but I can argue that it's kind of more fun because it's just silly. And you know what I mean? And so I try and make sure I hang on to these cars that represent kind of like where my head's at, more than like, oh, well, I need to get this car now because whatever. It's a hard thing to explain, but do you think we can get to a point to where we can change people's perspective on, I don't want people to get into car culture because they think that it's, going to get them freaking attention or Instagram likes or whatever. Like, and I preach that all the time in the magazine. The problem is not enough freaking people read it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line is I wish we could somehow make it free. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the problem with S3, and we're in a media landscape where we're competing with free. I mean, everybody else is free. The internet is free. Hoonigan, Donut, all the Jalopnik, all this crap is, well, it's not crap. I'd say that's not a cool thing to say, but like, it's free. And, when we're printing a magazine, we're competing with free. But I do feel like a lot of times that message needs to be heard more and more. And so like, how the hell can we how can we change the 20-year-old, the hunter, the 22-year-old or whatever guy, and give him a jump, right? Like I was 29, you were 29. How do we get him to start seeing it? And I'm not saying he doesn't, because Hunter's beyond his years, but like the average 24-year-old that, I mean, pardon my call out, but listens to like a Sticky Diljo, that says, oh, you have to do it like this, and then you'll be cool enough to be like one of the Honda elite. Well, fuck that, man. Get a Honda because it makes your blood pump when you get in VTEC. You know what I mean? And like, get a Honda because you're part of this brotherhood, and all. Like, how do we start to change that mindset more like a surfer thing, where it's kind of just like, yo, yeah, you get it,
I think. Well, the thing with Joey is somebody like that, they've created their own community, and it's attractive to a lot of people, and that's the thing, is people just need to create their communities and have people around them that want to be around. But, maybe people, what it really is, to be honest, straight up and down is insecurities. 100%. Yeah. Why do you want to have a nice car? Why do you want to have the newest clothes? So girls will like you. Girls will like you, or guys will like you. Whatever kind of attention you're trying to get. That's why I used to do. I'm telling you guys why I used to do things. I would buy a Gucci belt, sag my pants, so people know that I spent $300 on a fucking belt when I'm at the club. So maybe I could get a number or something. That's what it is, And these guys, they want attention, they want followers, they want people to recognize them for their car, but they're not putting any effort into their build to make it stand out, So it's just, all of this is just cries for insecurities. Everything is, and if you've been down that road, it's so easy to see. And Hunter, like, for people like your age, man, it's a very uncomfortable time, but you should really highlight those uncomfortable times, because more people are having uncomfortable times than having everything figured out. Right. So, and that's kind of what I've seen that would help us out as well. On the podcast, I'll talk about anything that is going on with me, and I'll have people be like, man, I didn't even think that you went through that. I'm like, dude, I'm a dude just like you.
I'm a human. Yeah.
And you put the human element back in things, man. And a lot of these people, they just want the trophies so they could post it up, so they could be the man. But you're not the man. You don't deserve to be the man. Deserve to be the man. Put people on, help people out, give people advice. Like, be the man, be the fucking OG. That's what I want to be. I want to be the OG. Yeah. I want to be the one to talk to people and be like, yo, if you have any problems, hit me up. And let me see if I can help you get over this block. Be what nobody ever was for you. That everybody, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Okay, well, now there's other people wishing that. You can be that for them.
Yeah. If you want to be the man, be inclusive, man. Like, you know what I mean? This is a giant family. Don't be exclusive. Don't be, like I always say in the magazine, like, fuck being an influencer. Like, inspire. And that doesn't mean inspire because you spent, $700 on some freaking, I don't know, rain shields for you. You know what I mean? Like inspire, like, from your heart, inspire like the way that you live your life. Inspire by, teaching the kids that are younger kind of what's really important. You know what I mean? Like we've been through it. We've been through the 20s. Like, we've both fought that battle of, like, society being like, yo, you really just gonna do this your whole life? Like, when are you gonna get a real job? When are you gonna sell that dumbass cars plural,
you listen to those people, and if you just focus on your own thing, you look back and like, damn, those people are still doing the same shit, and they told me to do something else. It's like, dude, come on, bro. I'm not a cocky person, but I've become way more confident because I know what it takes to do the work, and I do the work and I make it happen. And, it pays off, whether, cars or whatever it is, but I'm not trying to show off to people. I'm trying to show them, like, look, you see me posting up every day. You see me doing fucking 2 podcasts. I have a brand. You don't know how big the brand is, but you could perceive in your head how big it is. Like, do you have all of these things going on? No, well, you have more time. You have more things that you can do. Start filling up your plate. Start working on things that you want to do. Because I'm not anybody special, dude. I didn't even go to college. I didn't graduate. I didn't have rich parents or anything like that. Then I just hustled, dude. And if people just shut up, fucking hustled, you can have anything that you want in this world. Anything.
Yeah. Anything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I tell this all the time to like friends who get out of college and they don't know where to get a job from, or they're not sure what to go. They're just going through the paces. They went to college because everybody in their family went, or they were just like, this is what I'm supposed to do at a certain time. But like, listen, I don't care what it is. You pick something you love and you go at it. Somebody in this world pays people to do what you love. If you keep at it, I mean, there's a line of people who love to do the same thing. And the person who's going to get that job is the one who's still here. So if you stick at it for however long it takes, you're going to win. But these other people who quit or who heard their friends say, when are you going to get a real job? These other people who dropped out, you're going to be at the end of the line as long as you keep going at it. I say 100%. That all the time to my friends.
Yeah, man. I just wish that people would have the confidence in themselves to actually understand that. And it's hard from, me saying it if you don't know who I am. But there's a lot of people locally from my city, from Oxnard, that know who I am. And we've come from the same place. And hopefully I'm motivating them to at least show them more than whoever they're looking up to has showed them. Hey, that guy did it. He's from Oxnard. Maybe I can do it too. Yeah. It's just you have generations and generations of people who never really did shit with their life. So you don't have anything to compare your life to. If you're slightly better than your parents were, then you're like, all right, cool, I did good. But who's to say that was even the fucking bar, dude?
Yeah. Right.
There is no bar, man. You could do anything you want. Like,
the way your own standards.
Hell yeah, bro. The way that I feel about things is, dude, I can lose everything today, lose everything from Downstar today. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me figure it out. I'll start something else up. It's not
the next one.
Yeah. Because all money is a tool, and that's it. I used to have such a bad relationship with money, but I don't give a fuck about it now, dude. It's just like this. Okay, this is what I have to do to have freedom. Now I have this much freedoms, and when it starts getting low, then I need more freedoms. And that's it. But like working at a career and wearing a suit and having a fancy watch and shiny shoes and like that, yeah, that shit's cool if that's who you are. But if you're just doing it to portray something, like I was telling Wooly today, we went to go look at a house and I'm in a tie-dye shirt and cargo shorts. And I'm just, and like, if they judge me for how I look, then I don't want this fucking house anyways, dude. I don't have nothing to prove to you. This is a transaction. You're selling something. I'm buying it. This is all it fucking is, and that's it.
So, like the last job that I had before this, I went into the interview, and I mean, I've lived in Florida for most of my life, so I go to the interview in shorts. I got my belt, but then I have my Hawaiian T-shirt, and everybody's telling me like
the nice Hawaiian T-shirt.
It buttons up all the way to the top. No, but like family, friends are all like, damn, Jesse, you messed up. You shouldn't have done that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, listen, I know what I do. I know my profession. I know how well I do my job. If this, breaks it for them, this is not the place I want to be.
Yeah, definitely. 100%, man. And I mean, that's just how I think about things now. I just look at who I was back in the day. Somebody just trying to figure things out, insecure about a lot of things, wanting to project an image that I wanted people to think of me as, and it just it didn't feel good because that wasn't who I am. So it's like, this is me, who I am, and at the end of the day, all I ask from you is just to give me time, because I'm trying to figure this shit out just like you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, and I love it, man. I definitely love life a lot more than I did in the past. I really just thought of life in the past as just like something that you do. It's okay, you're going to live and then that's it. But now that I look at life as like every day is a new opportunity to do something, new goals. Yeah. And, I have people that follow us and they're just like in their teens and they're just like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, bro, I would fucking trade everything to be in your shoes, dog. No, is you don't understand what you have, dude. Like the only thing that we really have in this time in this life is time.
Time, yeah.
Strip away everything butt naked in the desert. The only thing that you have is time.
Yeah.
So with these people that have so much free time, you have so much time to figure out other things, you know. And right now, like I still feel like I have free time, and if there's other things that I want to figure out, but it's just I have to be motivated to want to do that kind of thing. And money isn't the thing that's motivating me anymore.
Right.
Dude, I feel that. Money has never motivated me. To a fault. You can ask Mike. All my life. Like, they're both like, are you just allergic to money? I'm just
He is, man.
I am, I guess.
Wooly, we got a great deal, man. All you got to do is he's like, nah, not feeling it. Not interested.
But I think of it kind of like you were saying. I don't want all the money. Like my brain just doesn't work like that. I mean, would it be nice? Hell yeah. You know, but like, it's just not, I think of money as like, okay, I need this to enjoy, you know, my life. But then there's a certain point where you're like, wait, too much. And it's owning me, you know, and I'm not owning it, you know, and yeah, it's a real mother bitch sometimes.
Yeah. People just live in that. They just live in that.
And Atlanta's real bad about that. Atlanta's a city of consumption, you know what I mean? And it's all just consuming, and you get a job that pays pretty well, and you get a nice car to sit in traffic and go to your job in every day, you know, and then you get a nice house that you get to come home to after you've been sitting in traffic for an hour and a half or whatever, and then you wake up and you're 40 or 45 and you go, fuck. like what am I doing? And at that point, you're too married to it, you know, like
that's all you know.
You're anchored down,
because it's coming out, and you really got to watch that crap from, you know, your mid-20s or whatever, and decide like, all right, who am I really going to be? What do I really want to be? It's kind of like you're saying, like, am I really impressing anybody with this dumbass $300 belt? Or does it pretty much just say sucker across the belt? You know, like, who do I really want to be in life? And then that's what you got to keep your eye on, man. Like, because it is, dude, you get sucked into, you know, adulthood and keeping up with the Joneses and whatnot. And it gets harder and harder to go back. However, when you're in your 20s, you can screw up and screw up again and screw up again and just recover. And it'll build like the character that you have. You were talking about if Downstar ends tomorrow, you'll find the next thing. And it's kind of like you get like immune to failure. Like your mindset will not let you fail. Downstar can fail, but what are you going to do? Crawl in a hole? And no, that's just your brain doesn't work like that now. You'll just be like, all right. You know, what are we going to do? What's the next thing? And you'll find something that lights you up and you'll get excited about it, and it'll be the next thing. Like I'd read that in a book somewhere, and they said it way better than that. But they're just like, people get so paralyzed by fear of failure. But like, your mindset's not going to let you fail if you've come that far. You know what I mean? You might fall down, but then you just get up and you find another way, and it's usually a blessing. In some way. So
definitely, man. I feel like that a lot, dude. And I really wish that people had more confidence in themselves. And you know, I feel like people take the opinions of others in their lives, whether it's their significant other, their family members, you know, their grandfather or something like that, and they take that as gospel. And at the end of the day, they're all just people as well. You know, my parents did the best that they could with whatever they had, and they had me and my sisters. Now my job is to make it worth it for them, you know, make them proud. And now I'm showing my son, you know, you have this life, you're living this life, you love how everything is, your kids better live a way better fucking life than you lived, or else you're failing. You know, and then he instills that on his children, and it keeps going. So I'm trying to change the trajectory of my bloodline. That's what I'm doing, you know, and I'm trying to put these thoughts into people where they're not struggling when they're, you know, 16, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to go to college. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, no, fuck all that, dude. Like, what do you like to do? What would you do for free? Okay, focus on that. Focus all your attention on that, and then you'll be the best in that you can. The money will come. And Nobody's ever told me that shit before, dude. They just told me go get a job and, try to make good money. I'm like, okay, thank you. But if I was doing that, I would still be working at Best Buy, dude.
Right.
Yeah, my mother's still holding out that I'll be a lawyer. She's like, you don't like any of these shirts from J. Crew maybe for Christmas? I'm like, Mom. like I love you for trying.
I love your mom so much.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else we can. You're West Coast.
Hold on. Let me shift gears for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when I first discovered Downstar. So like we addressed earlier, I'm 22. And I think probably 18, 19 was when I really decided, like, this car thing is like, this is it. Like, this is me. Like you said, like, this is what I want to do for free. I worked for S3. Like, I didn't even have a legitimate internship. I just, like, devoted all my time to them for, like a fucking year just because.
Yeah.
And so what really I guess the initial inspiration for me realizing that there was something more to this industry than just driving a cool car to Sonic or whatever was YouTube. Right. So I discovered YouTube and I came across the first person that I ever came across was a guy named TJ Hunt.
Yeah.
Who in the first video that I ever saw was unboxing a box of Downstar bolts.
No way.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So, from listening to your podcast with Mickey, which I watched every bit of, it was great. I discovered that you didn't even give those to TJ. TJ just went out of his way to do that, which spawned the relationship. So walk us through that, how that came out. You weren't a YouTube guy. You weren't really a big digital media guy other than socials.
Yeah.
And now you're introduced to this whole other world. What's that like?
Well, I was familiar with the world, but in the Honda aspect of things, I understood what YouTube brought to the table, and I understand how it works. You got to focus a lot of attention on it for it to grow. So I have immense respect for anybody that has a large YouTube following, because as you guys know, it's fucking hard to grow a channel, dude. I'm dealing with those struggles today, So when TJ did the video, someone DM'd me and they said, "Hey man, congrats for being on TJ Hunt." And I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" So he shot me the link. I checked the subs. There was like 600K. And I'm like, "Oh shit, this is kind of a big deal." Watched the video. He pretty much did a whole install tutorial on how the product works. And that was an alley-oop from Eric from Ilk Fab. So Eric is like his fab guy. So Eric had been following Downstar and told TJ, "Hey, you got to get some of this stuff for your car." So TJ just bought it. So after I seen that, he gave me exposure to 600K people for nothing. I don't even know who he is. So I found his number in our database, called him up, and I was like, "Hey man, I appreciate what you did. I know that you didn't have to do that. Anything you need from here on, I got you." And then that was about 3 years ago. And ever since then, we've probably been on like 20 or 30 of his videos. And really? he's up to like 1.6 right now. Yeah. And then that transitioned into working with Throttle, which Mickey's become one of my good friends. B is for Bill, just so many other huge YouTube channels, Eliminate. And it's just like you, when you saw it, they see it, the other guys, and then they hit me up, and I understand how it works. And I understand that YouTube does bring a great platform. So I will sponsor them with some products, and it's basically just like a handshake thing. Okay, cool. What do you need for your build? Here you go. And I don't even really expect anything after that. But then I'll see the video clip. Somebody will tag me in it. I could take a picture or whatever it is, and they're just helping me get the word out. And it's worked out awesome, man. And TJ he's gonna be huge, dude. I see TJ Hunt being the new what the hell is that guy's name that does all the drifting? Gymkhana. What the hell is that guy's name? Ken Block. Definitely. Okay. I see TJ Hunt being the next Ken Block. He's a great mind. He's a hustler, bro. And dude, he's light years ahead of anybody else that I see in his lane, man. So it was just like I said, bro, you see those things happen. If I would have never made that call, who'd have known?
Yeah.
If that relationship would have happened, but you got to put yourself in that uncomfortable situation, see something, see the seed as what the plant it could be. You know, remember when I said that I met somebody in the restroom at SEMA? It was TJ Hunt and all his buddies, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And then,
sorry, my hands are wet.
Yeah,
wet
and then
more.
from that relationship, I've got to meet Calvin, which Calvin is fucking awesome, man. We did a podcast on Downtime, and it's one of my favorite episodes, dude. And just a young guy, motivated, just hustler, and the way that his brain works kind of aligns with the way that I think about things. And I would have never had, you know, a friend that's 21 or what have you in that space if I wouldn't have taken that uncomfortable call and just, you know, just humbled myself down and said, hey, man, instead of being like, who's TJ Hunt? Oh, I don't care, some YouTuber, whatever. You know, he's lucky he has our fucking... Like, what the hell is that gonna do for me? Nothing. Right. So it was awesome, man. And shout out to TJ, dude, great dude.
That's awesome. What about being on the West Coast? Do you think, you know, you're talking about reaching out to people and kind of how that's difficult or whatever? You have to kind of like, you know, take the step to do it. Is the West Coast like super cliquey in car culture? Is it hard? I mean, because I know earlier I caught you mention something about like I haven't had you mentioned like you know, like S3 is kind of one of the magazines that I've really, you know, been in more. Like, was that super street thing super cliquey? Like, do you find, especially in the Honda community, that like it's super tight? And have you been able to kind of like either break in or just break out of that and not deal with it?
I could see why that is the assumption from people outside of California. Yeah. And a lot of that does come from, you know, Joey Lee from Sticky Dill Joe, but he made a platform and he took his time to build what he built, and he just shows the cars on it that he wants to show. So maybe some from you guys on the East Coast, you see that and you think that represents the entire Honda community, but really it's just through his eyes. So I would see it, but we even talked about on the podcast that we did together, like people would be mad at him because he's not showing their cars. He's like, only shows his friends exclusive. But then you think about it from the other side, it's like, yo, this is just this dude's platform, and he could pretty much put whoever's car that he wants on there because he wants to. He didn't ask for that clout that he received. He didn't ask to be that person. And you know, I had so many different thoughts about Joey before we started building a friendship, and now I see him like, yeah, dude, if you don't like the way that car looks, like, you don't have any obligation to post it up, to talk about it or anything like that, you know. And there's been times that,
like, I wasn't really talking about Joey when I asked the question, but what's weird to me, I totally agree. Like, that's his platform. He can post whatever he wants, and he's very knowledgeable about what he posts, you know. What's crazy is, how is it that the Honda community takes it as freaking gospel? Like, what, you know, me being on the East Coast and me being kind of like a different Honda guy than a lot, like, I think that they're pure fun, and I think that they, you know, they need to be driven as pure fun and owned and built as pure fun. That's kind of where I stand. Like, if I had, you know, Joey's platform or whatever. But yeah, like, it's weird. How does that happen? Is it because, why do you think he's got that clout? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but why is it that when he says that a Honda is built correctly, guys across the country go, hell yeah, that is built correctly, and that's how I'm going to build my car now? And you know what I mean? Like, it's just fascinating to me, because I nothing against Joey, but like, we're pretty opposite in like what we think is cool in a Honda. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, we are. So yeah, I don't know, man.
I think first thing is mystery. There's a lot of mystery about Joey, and he understood the value in that. I'm assuming early on, you know, not being a loud person, just putting your words out there, putting your work out there, and if people indulge it, they do. If they don't, whatever. And you know, that's the best attitude to have, because you're not ever going to be let down. You know, so if you like you could do anything that you want. So if he wants to do like a top 10, this is Joey Lee's top 10.
Yeah, yeah.
This is one dude. You know, it's me. I'm Frank Garcia. I think these 10 cars are the best cars of the year. Why are you going to get mad at me? Because I don't like your car. And I've thought of it from the other side, because I'm like, damn, I put so much work into my car. Like, why can't my car ever be featured or this or what have you? But it's just like, you have to break it down to what it actually is. This is one guy, one enthusiast, what he likes, you know? And that's like a very attractive quality, because it's pretty much like a fuck you. Like, I'll do whatever I want. I'll post whatever I want. I'll talk about whatever I want. And this is me. If you don't like it, you can start your own platform. So it really took me having to look at it in a certain different way, you know? And then from the outside looking in, the West Coast is always looked at as like the pioneers of the Honda community, and the new stuff always comes out of the West Coast. And then you have this guy with a huge platform in the West Coast. So it just kind of makes sense that it's all intertwined, but it's not. There's so many other people that have other platforms, but maybe they're not being their genuine self. Maybe people aren't attracted to it because they understand that they're not being their genuine self. So it's just, there's not really an elitist kind of attitude. But the thing about the West Coast is people just kind of stick to themselves. You know, even here at my local meet, I'll go to the meet, and I know that people know who I am, and I know people, but I'm just rolling through there. I'm just looking. I'll park, I'll chill, and that's it. You know, because everybody's too cool. Nobody wants to go up and say, "Oh shit, what's up?" So their friends could be like, "Hey, you're a dick rider," or whatever. You know, everybody's gonna be fucking. But once you start talking to them, that's a different story. Oh, what's up, man? You know, it's like, so everybody in the West Coast, their guards are so high, dude. Everybody's guard is so high. You'll go to iBot meet and you'll walk around and you're just like, everybody's guard is just so high.
I felt that 100% at iBot. And I think I can admit that I'm a little over, I don't know, for some reason, the whole, like, us being from the East Coast, I feel like we've always had to kind of fight that much harder because, you know, it's natural to not get credit or acknowledgement or be taken that seriously. At least we feel that way because we're not on the West Coast. We're not in everybody's backyard, so we're not front of mind. We're this, the way I tend to see it is we're this damn, you know, redneck magazine out of Georgia or whatever. And so even though I know a lot of that's just in my head, I bring it when I go to the West Coast. It's just, you know, it's in my, but like, I could totally feel that. Like when I went to IBOC, I could feel like the tension, like just the chest puffing, you know, about like how their Honda's built better than somebody. And that's the thing, like Joey Lee with his top 10, he does that top 10 or whatever it is, isn't it? Like he does like a thing.
Yeah, he hasn't done it for years though.
I was going to say S3 would never rate people's car like that. It's just not, I wouldn't do it. You're right. He's got every right to say on his platform what Joey Lee has decided is the best 10 cars, but like Jonathan Woolley will never decide what the best 10 cars is and put a publication out there because that's not who I am. I don't judge cars. I judge character. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of where I'm at, like in the car scene. But that's what I always wonder. I always, you know, like I always felt like that Super Street. Dude, I've had friends that worked at Super Street that were like, this freaking blows. Like I got what I thought was my dream job. I don't know. It might not have been Super Street. It might have been Import Tuner, or I think it was actually both. But they were like, yeah, I got my dream job. I moved out here and I am just not cool enough to go to lunch with these guys in my office. And I go home and I drink a lot and I work and I make just enough to pay for this really expensive place that I'm living at, you know, and like, they would just had this feeling that like, you're either in that clique or good luck, you know?
No, I feel you, but it's not like that. Like I've heard that so many times before, and it's just not like that. It's everybody just being from California, man. SoCal, your guard is up all the time, you know. And if you're from a different part of the country, maybe your guard isn't up all the time, you know. But there's so much. There's so much that goes along with that, you know. It's culture, population, weather. It all factors into it, you know. And even in the West Coast, like we have a lot of competition. Like there's cars that have been built in like, 2008 that still people aren't competing with today. So we're always competing, and we want to be like, who's the next best? I want to take it to the car show. I want to, because it's a competition. It's just the same way that somebody plays football or golf or whatever. This is our sort of competition, and I think that that's one thing that we're lacking in the community is a true competition, which you would need some kind of judges that are well respected, and they've done something, they've built things, they know what to look for, and it's like a separate entity from the show, the event itself. So when I win this trophy, I know that I won it because of what I built, not because of who I am or who I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're missing that, and that stops me from even wanting to really build another car, because I'm just like, first of all, I don't have nothing to prove to anybody, and second of all, if I'm gonna build a car, I want to build like the best car so I can like compete with it, And it's just there's a lot of, and two, being here from the West Coast, you're born with an ego, you're born with pride already. So it's something that you have to understand understand the downfalls of it. And,
I really do think that is kind of obviously it's a stereotype, but kind of a regional thing. Like I hear what you're saying, and I'm like, that makes sense. And I'm thinking of different businesses and some competitive organizations that come out of West Coast, and it is very like, we're going to do this seriously. Like, we're going to structure this. And you've been to the South enough to know it's like the vibe is different. It's like, yo, we're just, it's a lot less official. It's like, we don't want the trophies. We don't want all of that, we just want to hang or whatever.
But then they want the recognition.
Yeah, they're not.
That's that social media complex.
They don't complain when they get on that Joey list. That's for sure. Yeah, because I see them share that stuff. I mean, it's important to them. Maybe we just act like it's not, whereas California just doesn't put up a front like it's not important.
Yeah,
but I got another. So like two friends, one from the East Coast, one from the West Coast, competing businesses or whatever, and they got to talking. And the East Coast one is just like, well, we do the same thing. We should be mutual friends.
Yeah.
And finally, like the guy from the West Coast stopped him and was like, listen, I don't know how to take you right now. And the guy from the East Coast is like, what do you mean? And the guy from the West Coast was literally like, my guard is up. Like, I don't understand how to take you coming at me as a friend because we're competitors. And he's like, I'm going to admit, I'm aggressive towards that. And you're coming at me as a friend. And I feel like you're really being real about it, though. He's like, and that's what's got me kind of like, he's like, I just don't, give me a couple days. He's like, I'll call you back. I don't know how to deal with this. He's like, it's just not like that over here, man. We're not buddy if we're competitors like that. Like it's just different.
And then take it to the East Coast, like Jersey, New York, and stuff. The way that they talk to people is very disrespectful, and I've almost had a few confrontations because I'm like, yo, we don't talk to people like that, bro. If you say that,
mind your manners.
This is we're gonna have a fucking problem, And then what do you mean, like, bro, it's just different, man. We're from a different place, and we're just brought up differently, and we have different set of values, And it's, of course, the Honda community is definitely going to reflect that, and say the East Coast as well. Like, the East Coast is the fast coast. All the fast cars are over there, and you guys have that. So we don't complain over here and say like, oh yeah, we don't build fast cars because who cares? We understand, yo, you guys are fucking doing your thing, and we're not doing our thing over here, because if we were, then we would have the fast cars over here. So I think that's...
What's it like out there, like the landscape? But I mean, are there a lot of 90s Hondas out there running the streets in California, or are they kind of just... I think that plays into it also, because in California, correct me if I'm wrong, like, the government, the emissions, all these things become issues. Like down here in the South, dude, like I can run any motor in any Honda. Like I've been pulled over before, and the cops, they don't care. Like it's not on their radar at all. They usually walk up and they're like, you're missing the whole back half of your car here. Like, you all right? Like they're not worried about what's in it. But maybe that, if in California, the laws and the restrictions and the emissions make it harder to take a 25, 30-year-old Honda, K-swap it, and just beat on it on the street, then I totally understand where that results in a much finer built automobile that is kind of more of a collector, more of a museum piece. You know what I mean? Because around here, we're building them to go beat on them in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? And we don't have to worry about the repercussions.
I mean,
Show do.
I never worry. A lot of people that I know don't worry. They just do it. And if you get caught, then it is what it is. You know, I hear a lot of people bring up that, you know, they bring up cost of living, they bring up emissions, and all of that stuff there's solutions for everything. Yeah. You just don't give a fuck or you pay the ticket. It is what it is. You know, if you're going to let the government stop you from doing your hobby, then that's as deep as that hobby means to you.
Yeah. So what's a common occurrence? Like, I don't know if you know let's just say you have 88 CRX. It's got a K-swap in it. It's gutted. It's loud. It's obnoxious. It's definitely not within California emissions. And you get pulled over. Like, how would that usually go? Like, is it an impound thing, or is it just a ticket and you pay the ticket and you keep going, or?
Most of the times I've ever run into it, it was just a ticket and keep going. I mean, then again, it depends on so many factors. Yeah. A lot of people that drive Hondas, maybe they don't have that much respect towards law enforcement. Yeah. And if you're a police officer and you get with somebody who doesn't respect you, then you're going to give them a bunch of tickets. But if you talk to them, like, hey, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, you know, I did this. I've showed a cop my engine.
Just trying to get home from grandma's house. I brought her some soup. And my other car wasn't working. And
dude, I got pulled over and I was doing a pass, you know, and the cop pulled me over. He's like, yeah, I heard you speeding down the street. I was like, yeah, I just got the car running again. You know, he's like, if I pop the hood, is there going to be anything illegal under there? I said, yeah. And, you know, and he just gives me a ticket for speeding, and that's it. You know, so it's just how you talk to people, man. And it's a lot of people don't take the responsibility on themselves. The job for the police is to catch you. Your job is to not get caught. You got caught, is your fault.
Yeah. I mean,
you heard that, people. With a slow ass, you got caught. With a slow ass.
That's how I live life.
That's awesome.
I feel that.
I'm trying to think. Oh man, what else do we need to talk about? Anybody got anything?
You guys all look sleepy, man. What time
is it? I got tons of respect for you.
Oh, it's like 4 in the morning.
Nothing but love and respect for you, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. You know, lastly, everybody that's listening, like, just understand that I'm just growing, I'm changing, I'm evolving, and I'm trying my hardest. And a lot of people listening probably seen us go through some stuff in the public, and you know, it is what it is. I thought that was the best decision to make at that time, and whether it turned out not to be or what, I'm right here right now, so I probably wouldn't change it.
There's a Soulja lyric that's like, you can't tell me who I am because I'm working on that too. You know, like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, exactly, man. And shout out to, you know, Martel, to Don, to Import Alliance. Like, I wish all them the best. You know, I wish everybody succeeds. And I don't have problems with any man. It's just when it comes to business, you know, there's certain people that I want to do business with and certain people that I don't. That has nothing to do with, I don't want you to have a great life. You know, I want everybody listening to have a great life, to enjoy their day. And
there's a Bob Marley quote for that. I hope that you eat, just not at my table, right?
That's it.
Well, anyways,
Chinese noodles.
What's next
for
you?
For anybody that's looking for Downstar, where can they find you?
Gotcha. So 2-part question. What's next up? We're really working on the cult stuff right now. Basically, this is a group that we're going to cap at 1,000 people. You just got to text the number 818-403-3473.
Now what
You text it, you add us to your contacts, and now we can text each other. You text that number right now, it's going to pop up on my phone just like a text. But what that does for us is we're able to send out mass text. So if we're going to have product drops, exclusive sales, giveaways, or anything like that, I just send it out to the cult and put out the action for them to do. And all of that is just just within this conversation. So nobody in social media, nobody in the public is ever going to know about it. So we're actually going to be dropping an exclusive product that's going to come out in like 3 months, and the cult is going to have the first dibs on it from a pre-order standpoint. So they're going to get the product, put it on their car, and post it up, and people are going to be like, "Where'd you get that?" And they're going to ask me, I'm like, it's not out yet. You know, so it's I want to build our own exclusive social media and to be able to connect with these people, man. I have one-on-one conversations with people just random. I'll just text them, "Yo, what's up, Joe? What are you doing this weekend?" They're like, "Oh, nothing, man. I'm just here." And they'll send pictures. We'll send pictures back, and that's it, you know. And I think it's awesome. And with this, I can send text to certain areas. So if I'm in Atlanta, I could say I'm in Atlanta, 50-mile radius, and be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm out here in Atlanta. If you want to meet up for dinner, we'll be at Varsity tonight. Come through." And see who shows up.
That's sick, man.
Yeah, and so you guys can hit us up there. Once again, you just text it. Everybody's probably thinking like we're getting something from them. You got to pay. It's not. It's basically like you give out your number to all kinds of girls that are never going to call you anyway. So just text us instead. It's at 818-403-3473. And it's been awesome, man. So I'm really working on the cult stuff, the podcast as well, Downtime with Downstar. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. 2 episodes a week, Monday and Thursday, and I think Thursday, yeah. And then we have Downstar at Downstar. Just always have some interesting stuff going on. We're actually having, since I said that my guy Alex is going to school, we have a new addition coming to the team, which is going to be pretty big, man. I can't tell anybody on air, but it's going to be a huge one, dude. And I'm excited for that.
Well, cool, man. Well, once again, thank you very much, Frank, for coming and hanging out with us. It's been a great talk.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it.
And then for you guys watching, s3mag.com, get your shirts, the mag, whole 9 yards, subscribe to all our stuff. If you're here, you're already on it. You know where to find it. But anyways, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys.
See you, man.